For over 15 years, we have been witnessing a legendary duel in the smartphone market, Apple versus Samsung. Two giants who, year after year, compete to impose their vision of the mobile phone and capture the attention of consumers. In the blue corner, Apple, controlled innovation, sleek design, and a user experience locked in an ultra-smooth ecosystem. Since the launch of the very first. Since the iPhone's launch in 2007, Apple has become the high-end smartphone market leader, as evidenced by the sales figures. 225 million iPhones sold in 2024, which is 18% of the global market share, according to Canalys Research Center. The iPhone, particularly the iPhone 15, ranks among the top 10 best-selling smartphones globally. In the red corner, Samsung, the king of diversity. A giant capable of making smartphones for every taste and budget, always at the cutting edge of tech innovation. In 2024, the Korean firm sold 222 million smartphones, just behind Apple. With several models in the top, notably the Galaxy A15 and the Galaxy S24 Ultra, Samsung remains the only competitor capable of keeping up with Apple over the long term. You know it if you are subscribed to the channel after the videos on HTC, LG, Motorola, or even Nokia. But this rivalry, it goes well beyond sales volumes. It embodies two completely opposing visions of the smartphone. On one side, a closed universe, totally controlled, focused on simplicity, security, and exclusivity. On the other hand, we have a more open, customizable, but also more fragmented world. Hello, Team Mindset. After the video on the eternal duel between McDonald's and Burger King, many of you asked us to analyze this equally legendary battle. As always, your ideas in the comments are the real gem, so keep sharing them. In this video, we will decipher the reasons for this titanic struggle and try to answer a question many of us are asking. Is Apple really untouchable at the top? Does Samsung still have a card to play to reclaim the throne? Will lurking competitors overturn the table? Let's dive in and explore these questions. Back in 2007, the mobile world was then dominated by giants like Nokia, BlackBerry, or Motorola. Flip phones and physical keyboard phones dominated the market. The concept of a buttonless touchscreen seemed almost futuristic. At the time, a few brands like HTC had already ventured into touch technology. And if you've seen our dedicated video, you know what we're talking about. However, their interfaces stayed complex and unintuitive, falling short of public expectations. Then suddenly, Apple enters the arena. The very first iPhone arrives like a technological bomb. A multi-touch capacitive screen, an interface designed for fingers, a smooth web browser, and above all, a promise of a radically different user experience. For the first time, a smartphone no longer looked like a mini computer, but a simple, elegant object designed for everyday use. The smartphone had just changed dimension. Faced with this revolution, the old leaders are going, and at Samsung, it's time for the counterattack. Already well established in consumer electronics, the South Korean giant doesn't need to accelerate. In 2010, it launches its own challenger, the Galaxy S. Inspired by the iPhone, it runs on Android and marks the real beginning of a duel at the top. But this rivalry will quickly go beyond technology. As early as 2011, Apple sues, accusing Samsung of copying its design and interface. This will be the start of a never-ending legal war, with trials in over 10 countries, billions of dollars at stake, and a tension that could be cut with a knife. However, Samsung continues to progress rapidly and forcefully. Its advantage is that it manufactures many of its own components, including active matrix organic light-emitting diode screens, processors, and photosensors. This control of the production chain, it allows him to innovate at a frantic pace and adapt his models to trends more quickly. From the Galaxy Note to the Galaxy Fold, Samsung imposes its unique smartphone vision. Despite high sales volumes that often surpass Apple, prestige still eludes him. Because the iPhone remains a cult object, a symbol, and in terms of brand image, Apple maintains a lead that is difficult to catch up. Apple and Samsung's long-standing rivalry extends beyond smartphones. It's a clash of philosophy, almost of culture, a radically different way of conceiving technology. Two worlds that don't speak the same language but aim for the same goal, to conquer the heart, and the wallet, of course, of the users. Apple, its absolute mastery. A locked ecosystem, meticulously designed, thought out to offer a smooth, simple, and seamless experience. Hardware, software, service, everything is developed internally to work together. The result is a streamlined interface, enhanced security, and a consistency that gives a sense of perfection. But this perfection is costly. limited freedom, customization, and out-of-the-box thinking. Samsung, on the other hand, plays the diversity card by relying on Android, a more open system that we have also analyzed in detail in video. The Korean giant can offer an ultra-wide range, from budget smartphones under Euro 200 to premium models like the Galaxy S Ultra or Z Fold. It's also a constant experimentation ground. Foldable screen, huge photo sensor, large battery, super fast charging. Samsung is moving rapidly. But this openness comes at a cost. Less consistency, slower updates, and a user experience that can vary from one model to another. In the end, the real question may be, does the public prefer a closed but smooth experience or total freedom with some imperfections? In the war between Apple and Samsung, everyone is looking at the sales figures. But in reality, the real battle is being fought elsewhere. Not only on the number of smartphones sold, but on the ability to retain the user. Because a customer who buys an iPhone or a Galaxy is not just buying a phone. They are entering a universe, an ecosystem, and this ecosystem, it influences all their future choices. This is where the Apple brand shines brightest. For years, Apple has built a closed, ultra-coherent ecosystem where everything works together perfectly. If you have an iPhone, it instantly connects to your MacBook, your iPad, your Apple Watch, or your AirPods. You start an email on your phone, you finish it on your computer. Thanks to iCloud, AirDrop, or Handoff, everything is synchronized in real time, without any friction. And the more you get into this universe, the harder it becomes to get out. Because no other ecosystem offers this fluidity, this stability. Apple controls everything, from hardware to software, optimizing the experience end-to-end. This consistency builds loyalty and a feeling of dependence, which can sometimes feel like a golden cage, as recently observed. However, this approach also has limitations. Apple has many restrictions, making it nearly impossible to install apps outside the App Store without complex workarounds. Compatibility with products from other brands is very limited. Switching brands becomes almost discouraging when you own several Apple products. This model, it works perfectly to keep the already won-over users and can deter those who are looking for more customization freedom or simply more flexibility. Samsung has taken a more open and diverse approach compared to Apple, as it does not control its entire ecosystem. It uses Android, developed by Google, and must deal with an environment not fully under its control. It can customize it with its one-user interface overlay, but it is still limited in what it can offer. Yet this openness, it brings real benefits. Samsung products are compatible with many services and devices. The user can install whatever they want, customize the interface, change the settings in depth. Samsung will provide a broad spectrum of phones, from budget-friendly to top-of-the-line models. This strategy offers something for everyone, but also comes with challenges. Firstly, Samsung doesn't fully control the user experience. Android evolves at the pace of Google. Despite Samsung services like Samsung Pay, Samsung Cloud, and Galaxy earbuds and watches, its ecosystem is not as seamless as Apple's. It's also less restrictive, which can be a strength or weakness. Another issue is fragmentation, which is more technical. Because Samsung offers dozens of different models, each innovation, each update must be adapted to all this diversity. The result is performance that varies from one phone to another. Updates arrive inconsistently, which can hurt customer loyalty due to the lack of a unified experience. Be warned, the stakes are immense. In the coming years, the true battle will transcend mere technical specifications. It will also be about the complete experience, the ability to offer an integrated, fluid, and engaging ecosystem. Today, Apple has a certain lead, but Samsung still has a card to play. If it manages to better connect its products with each other, to develop powerful alternatives to Google's service, and to smooth out the user experience, despite its diversity, then it could well come back to the forefront, not only as a smartphone manufacturer, but as a true creator of ecosystems. Today, the question is no longer just about who sells the most, it's much deeper than that. In profitability, customer loyalty, and brand image, Apple appears to be in a league of its own. So, can Samsung still hope to reverse the trend? Or is Apple's dominance now out of reach? First, we need to talk about the image. Apple has managed to build an identity that is strong, unique, almost iconic. An iPhone is not just a phone, it's a symbol, a social marker. Each new model creates an event, fuels conversations, triggers cues in the app stores. It's not just a matter of technology, it's a matter of desire. Samsung still struggles to match the enthusiasm for high-end models, despite having better technical aspects in certain areas. So the challenge is there. How to create an emotional connection as strong with users. Customer loyalty is another crucial point where Apple dominates the competition. Once you enter the Apple ecosystem, it becomes very difficult to get out. Each device is designed to reinforce the use of the others. It's smooth, simple, and consistent. Samsung, despite its efforts, cannot lock its users in as effectively. Its ecosystem, which is more open, will make the transition to other brands easier. And this flexibility, while it may attract them at first, can cost a lot in terms of loyalty. Samsung's core strength lies in its unwavering focus on innovation, which has consistently been central to its strategy. It popularized active matrix organic light-emitting diode screens, high-res cameras, and ultra-fast charging. Samsung pioneered foldable smartphones, while Apple continues using traditional designs. Technologically, Samsung often takes the lead. But where Apple hits hard is in its ability to turn every innovation into a concrete, smooth, integrated experience that users adopt. Without even realizing it, one moves fast, the other moves right. And at the center of all this, there's the ecosystem. Again, Samsung's weak point. Even with great products, inconsistency can impede attachment. Apple has managed to make its universe a golden prison, pleasant, reassuring, where everything is designed to avoid the least amount of friction. Despite Samsung's efforts with one-user interface Samsung Pay and Galaxy accessories, the company remains reliant on Google. As long as it doesn't dominate the experience, offering a powerful alternative will be challenging. However, nothing is certain. Samsung has the resources, the know-how, and the agility to evolve its model. It can strengthen the integration of its products, work on its brand image, improve customer loyalty, and offer a clearer vision of what it means to be a Samsung user. But as long as these levers are not fully activated, Apple will remain firmly seated on its throne. Apple succeeds by selling not just phones, but a lifestyle. This face-to-face may soon no longer be the news. While Apple and Samsung are battling it out in the spotlight, another battle is brewing in the shadows. The market is evolving as ambitious outsiders like Xiaomi are strategically gaining ground behind the two giants. Once viewed as a budget brand, the Chinese manufacturer has risen to third place globally through strategic moves, not chance. With high-quality products and competitive pricing, Xiaomi is gaining popularity, particularly in emerging markets as it moves upmarket. In 2024, the company sold over 168 million smartphones. That's impressive, and the number continues to grow. Behind it, we have Honor, former subsidiary of Huawei, which is making a smashing comeback, as we saw in a video recently, is resurfacing. With a well-oiled strategy, with a refined design and controlled innovation, the brand is strategically positioned for a strong European market comeback, aiming to secure its place in the premium segment. I recently tested one and was frankly blown away. Google, the American giant, isn't selling in bulk yet, but its Pixel smartphones are improving yearly. They offer a pure Android experience, priority updates, and deep integration of artificial intelligence. For the most tech-savvy users, it's starting to make a difference. Huawei, despite American sanctions, continues to innovate and remains a formidable player in the Chinese market. With its proprietary Harmony operating system, Huawei aims to regain full control over its ecosystem, similar to Apple's approach. So, of course, none of these players are yet directly threatening the global domination of Apple and Samsung. The trend persists. These brands are progressing, gaining market shares, and cementing their place in the landscape. History has shown that in the tech industry, empires can crumble rapidly. So, is it an eternal duel or a throne to conquer? The playing field has changed today. It's no longer just about selling a phone. It's a war of ecosystems, services, long-term relationships with the user. And on this field, Apple has taken a lead that is hard to catch up. Can Samsung still reverse the trend? Of course, but on one condition. Not to play solely on raw innovation, but to build a global, coherent, and engaging vision. Create an attachment, a promise, a lifestyle. And that's where everything will be decided. And if neither one adapts quickly enough, maybe an outsider will simply come and overturn the table. This, which could lead them to end up like LG, an innovative giant in the sector, which collapsed after a series of strategic errors, as seen in the video that is displayed.